Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Warzone. Say, man, get on the phone and call somebody and tell them the great one is in the building. You know who I am. I'm the 5-star general. Something going on with these kids in these schools, and y'all playing with them. Better y'all than me. But what is the problem with the lack of structure with these kids? We're going to get into it tonight, man. Let's get to it. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Warzone and tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in. You know, without you good people, I would not have a show. So I want to thank you for taking time out to come and hang out with me. It is what it is. I want to start this off right. That people get out and they ask us, they run for office, they ask us for our vote. And there's no worse person than one who gets in office and shows us their true colors. I told y'all a long time ago, do not re-elect Elizabeth Santos to the Houston Independent School Board because Santos is a bona fide racist. She doesn't like Black or Latino children. She doesn't like Black or white children. Let's get that straight. Because she never visits their school. She never interacts with them. But I came across something that struck me as odd. It struck me as odd. And I think it's time for the school board to possibly censor Elizabeth Santos. I'm going to share a screen with you. This is something that Santos put on social media, and somebody took it and they put it up there. See, social media can either help you or it can hurt you. And in this case, Santos doesn't care what she says. She does this type of stuff all the time, and nobody wants to call on the carpet for it. So next month when I get to the school board meeting, I'll call on the carpet in public. I am not going to hold my tongue. This says if your child is reading something you think is inappropriate, good. This is from a book in the Houston Independent School District. We're each busing a load into this bottle. If you don't come, you have to drink it. Santos said if your child is reading something you think is inappropriate, good. I wonder if she would say that about her own child. I wonder if she would feel that way with her little angel that she likes to parade around. The things that she says in regards to other people's children, the Houston Independent School Board needs to censor this woman because enough is enough of her racist behind. She is who she is. She's not going to change. She's very, very childish. She doesn't like me. I don't like her, but the facts are the facts. This is not behavior becoming of a school board representative. And honestly, I think she should resign her position. Well, she doesn't have to work because she married into money. I know so much about you, Miss Santos, that I've really been giving you a pass. But since that's the way you think about it, which does not surprise me, it's you versus me now. And you won't survive me. I can promise you that. You will not survive me. There's something seriously going on wrong with our school systems. And I'm talking about from a disciplinary standpoint. I'm talking about from the standpoint that schools are very, very unsafe. I'm going to show you two different situations from two different school districts that are not the Houston Independent School District. And I want you to tell me what you think, because these kids, as much as I love them, as much as I battle for them, Some of these kids are rotten to the core. And the stuff that they're doing is costing people their jobs. These kids are fighting these people. They're doing all kinds of stuff. So tonight we're going to really get into it because I want your input. Because anything that can help our school systems function better, then that's what I want to do. So let's share screen real quick. We're going to share screen and we're going to watch this. All right. Let's go back. Let's stop the screen. Now let's share the screen. There we go. I got to make sure you got audio. Okay.
Only on 2 this evening, a substitute teacher fired from her job after accusations she prayed with students. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Noel.
And I'm Keith Garvin. That teacher has been working in education for more than 40 years, and she says those accusations are not true and that the kids who reported it made it up. KPRC2's Devin Clark is live at Summer Creek High School in Northeast Houston with more on this story. Devin.
Keith, Christine, the woman you're about to hear from, says she was not only devastated, but also humiliated when she was terminated and escorted off of this campus. She says she was fired over a prayer that never even happened.
And I just wanted to make a difference.
At 73 years old, Stella Neal says she spent nearly the last 5 decades doing what she loves.
And I always wanted to be a teacher. I did fulfill my dream.
She says after retiring from a 30-plus year career with HISD, she returned to work as a substitute teacher. In 2009, Neal says she started at Summer Creek High School in Humble. But last year, on November 11th, her position there came to an abrupt end.
47 years, multiple school districts. Not a spot of blemish on her record. And you throw this woman away with no proof, without a thorough investigation, denying her due process.
Neal and her advocate, Quanell X, showed us paperwork they say details an investigation by Humble ISD, where students claim that back on November 4th, Neal had a boy stay after class as she called her pastor to pray for him because he was gay. She says she has proof that's not true.
I am holding a letter from my pastor, to whom it may concern, and it's describing that he has never ever prayed for students at any campus I worked at.
Neal also showed us a call log she says proves she never even called her pastor that day.
His number's not on here at all.
As an experienced public school educator, Neal says she understands that prayer is not allowed in school. She adds she didn't know about the kids' sexuality and thinks they had another reason to get her fired.
I'm thinking these kids fabricated this allegation on me because, in a way, I'm a strict disciplinarian.
Humble ISD confirmed Neal was an employee up until November 11th, but would not comment on the issue, saying that all matters related to district personnel are handled internally. Meanwhile, Neal and Quanell X say that they are going to appeal her termination. She wants her job back and her name cleared. Reporting live in Humble, Devin Clark, KPRC2 News.
We're going to go straight into the next video because this one is disturbing. This one is very, very disturbing.
Say the middle schoolers attacked that coach, all because he tried to discipline them. And today, the chaotic aftermath of what happened here yesterday continues. A chase and beatdown on the Langham Creek High School campus caught on cell phone video yesterday. Cy-Fair ISD officials say that the attackers are 4 students from Aragon Middle School. Students here at the high school say that the victim is a baseball coach who told the middle school kids that they could not ride dirt bikes on campus.
Later that day, they got arrested, and their older friends threatened to shoot up our school.
Cy-Fair ISD officials say a threat made through social media resulted in beefed-up security and safety measures on campus today.
We couldn't walk around unless we had an ID badge. They wouldn't even let us in. I have athletics first period, so I don't have it on, and my teacher wouldn't let me in unless I put it on.
Students say that the coach was not at school today. Cy-Fair ISD officials sent a letter to parents saying that the juveniles who attacked him were taken into custody and will be disciplined according to the code of conduct. Concerned parents,
this just shouldn't be happening, not in our own backyard.
Want swift action.
That just cannot happen. These kids definitely need to get in a whole lot of trouble, and I'm just speechless.
Tonight it's unclear.
Now, that was in Cy-Fair. So now I'm going to read you a text that I received because HISD, you're not beyond it either. It says, the principal of Worthing has lost control of his school. Sometimes you have to ask yourself some serious questions. One question I've been asking myself is how this high school ended up with a new principal that came from elementary. Not saying he isn't qualified for the job, but so far it looks like maybe the hiring needs to be rethought. On Friday, February 11th, which is today, the school experienced so many fights that the classes had been completely disrupted. Teachers trying to break up fights were even assaulted. And before the end of the day, several of them just had to leave school just to calm themselves down. From what the students stated, the fights were happening with 9th and 10th graders that come from different areas. Fighting in the lunchroom, halls, and even outside on the football field took place as lunch started. Students say they witnessed teachers trying to stop the fighting from being assaulted, but other teachers just staying in their classroom, not getting involved at all. Worthing has a HISD police substation right in the school, but only one officer that has no chance of controlling the school. The school is so short-staffed that the principal is actually having to teach classes, and from talking to students and faculty, no one knows who's in charge of the school anymore. Everyone is doing what they want to do when they want to do it. Worthing is far from being the early college they want to say it is, but a war zone that happens every day. Who's in charge? Where do I need to start? I'm going to start at your house. You're not being the parent that you claim you are. You're not being the parent that you claim you are. Some of you parents don't know how to raise children. Some of you parents don't even want to raise children. You only had them so you could get free public assistance. Let's just tell the real. Some of y'all just don't have any business trying to raise anybody's kid, let alone your own kid. There is no discipline in the home, so therefore there shall be no discipline anywhere else that these kids go to. I showed you a video of kids chasing a baseball coach, a grown man. It couldn't have been me because I ain't doing no running. The reason that these schools are out of control is because, one, the parents are not doing their job. Two, because the school system at certain schools, especially at these predominantly Black and brown schools that they fight so hard to keep open, you've set the table for it to be that way. How do you have a police station inside of Worthing High School and you only got one cop? So it's one cop for 800 and some kids, right? One cop for 900 kids, right? How does that work? How does that work? Why should a teacher come to school and have to be in fear? Who's going to do something about it? We have a new superintendent in the Houston Independent School District that looks more and more every day like he's just sitting on his hands. What are you going to do? You're going to send your experts in there with your STEM and all that? They ain't trying to hear that. They're trying to hustle to eat. These schools don't have a way of dealing with discipline. And this is the reason that those buildings are totally out of control. Now, when somebody throw them out of school, you want to cry and you want to complain, and this is wrong. No, it ain't wrong. Some of y'all need to be thrown out of school. You know, I'm looking at Sherry Brooks. She said, put the National Guard in school. You don't need no National Guard. You need these parents to start whooping ass at home. But see, we know who ass getting whooped at their house. The parents getting their ass whooped by their own kids. That's why their kids go to school and try these adults. Because the same thing they doing at school is what they doing at home. 9 times out of 10, the same way they try to handle them adults in school is the same way they handling those adults at home. It is what it is. But the school system has a responsibility to make sure that that learning environment is not disrupted. And yet the school system is not doing anything. They're not doing anything. They're letting this go on. They're going to let Worthing go to hell. They really want them kids out of there so they can bust kids in so they can do a real early college. You principals have total autonomy in the Houston Independent School District on how you run your school. You're in a decentralized school district. You're not suspending kids because you don't want to get dinged by looking like you're suspending too many kids. You got too many intervention programs where if they get caught with a pound of weed, they send them to rehab. So, I mean, what are we running, a school or a rehabilitation center? And I see people are asking, what can we do? Let me try this a different way. You want me to tell you where we messed up at? Can y'all really handle this conversation? Because that means I got to have a black side and a white side for you to really understand how this got to go. And then I'm going to tell you what's wrong. But I ain't going to just beat the problem up. I'm going to come with the solutions. See, this is why I should have been on the school board, because I'm addressing all of this. Nothing should disrupt the learning environment. So you want me to tell you the truth? You want me to tell you the truth? How this happened? We got to get to the root cause of the problem. How this happened? See, when back in the day, when you was letting Oprah and Phil Donahue tell you what to do with your kids, you created the monsters. You created the monsters. You had everybody telling you what to do with your kid. But you wasn't using the common sense that God gave you and the sense that your parents put in you to raise your kids the same way that you were raised. See, I'm going to tell you something. From an African-American standpoint, I don't care if y'all getting mad. We need structure and discipline. I'm sorry. We're not like the Caucasians. But see, the root cause of the problem is what I'm talking about. When Oprah and Phil were telling you how to raise your children, you fell for that foolishness. When kids were going on Jerry Springer and fighting their parents, it was funny. You was letting your kids watch that. It was a joke. That's part of the problem. The other part, you are right. Corporal punishment was taken out of the schools. Now, you want the truth about corporal punishment, or you want me to sugarcoat this? Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't really care if you get mad. I'm going to tell you the truth. Corporal punishment did not become a problem until black teachers started paddling little white kids. That's when it became a problem. So if you sitting there, you white, you black, I'm on both of y'all right now. Corporal punishment became a problem when black teachers started paddling and disciplining white children. No, we're not having this. So they stripped the schools of corporal punishment, and now your child sits in an environment for 75% of the day where there is no structure, no discipline, and no accountability. And you expect for them to behave in a manner that's totally different than what you just saw on camera. Once a kid these kids are very intelligent. Once a kid figure out that you ain't gonna do nothing to them, they gonna keep doing it. Once they figure out if they get in a fight, they just going in school suspension. They gonna keep doing it. You made these teachers powerless. These teachers sit in these classrooms. If that coach would have turned around when those 4 boys were chasing him, and he'd have defended himself, he'd have been terminated and possibly have gone to jail. Is that fair? No, it's not. So what can we do to fix the problem? Kiki will say, so they don't expel kids anymore. It takes an act of God to get suspended from school nowadays. And God forbid that they got a special ed tag on them, because you can almost give it up. So what can we do? We have to revisit our student codes of conduct, and we're going to have to get tough in these schoolhouses. I believe that every child should have a fair shot at a quality education. I believe that. But I also believe if you blow your shot at it, then you need to come up out that building. Some kids actually go to school to learn. And those kids should not be deprived of an opportunity to learn. So this is what I'm going to say. Whether they black, white, Latino, or whatever. That student code of conduct should be just like the federal guideline book. You do this, this is your punishment. You do this, this is your punishment. You do this, this is your punishment. All of this back and forth, give them a chance. I want to. But at the same time, they can't disrupt the learning environment. I'm sorry, but they can't. Oh, well, they need social emotional learning. No, they need their ass whooped. Oh, they got ADHD. That just means they ain't got their ass whooped. I'm just telling you the truth. It's no way that a grown man should be chased around a school campus, caught and beat up by some middle school kids. I'm going to be straight up with you, man. If that was me, I'd be in Harris County right now. Because I probably couldn't beat up 4 middle school kids. But I would hug one of them out. I've always made a promise to anybody that decided they wanted to jump me, even when I was a kid, that if I get jumped, I know I'm going to the hospital, but one of y'all coming with me. Because I'm not finna swing at 4 or 5 different people. I'm going to swing at one. And one of y'all coming to the hospital with me. And I mean what I say. We are at a point where these people have experimented on our society, from bail reform to schools to everything. They experiment. And nothing that they're doing is working. Nothing that they're doing is working. And a lot of these schools, especially in the inner city, this happens every single day because they want those schools closed. So they're going to let them implode. Now, if you're watching and you're concerned about the budget for HISD, well, we know we squashed them closing black schools. So here's the plan. And then y'all tell me how you think this is gonna work with with the violence on the school campuses. They're gonna look at the enrollment, and they're gonna let the enrollment determine how many teachers need to be on the campus and how many administrators. So if we looking at a school with 900, they might end up with 3 administrators. They might decrease the number of teachers that they have. I will say that this plan does not work. It's not going to work. It will make these campuses totally unsafe. We already know that they're totally unsafe. We know that they're totally unsafe. I'm going to read some of y'all comments and then we'll get back into it. PDM1, it's not the principal, it's the kids. Teachers take a lot of abuse. Thunder said, looks like that's cool. Turn it in the East Side High in the movie with the actor Belushi called the principal. PDM1, amen to that. Jamarcus Owens, there's no way I would be running from those kids. All of them would have had their jawbone broken. Thunder, we need another Joe Clark. I think so. Thunder, I miss the old days when the teachers can put the knuckles on you. Isn't there a video of a girl beating up our mother at the schoolhouse? PDM1, I'm at school with white kids. It's just as bad there. Thunder, you got a lot of comments. I'm going to go to some other people. December baby, well, they need to put back corporal punishment back in school. But I believe it has gotten out of hand because if they do, kids will bring weapons to school to get revenge from the teachers. PDM1. Yep, one of our 7th graders gave the vice principal a black eye. Autistic and spectrum kids are totally different from my childhood. And Al said if they jump 5-star, they better help the bear. So let's go over here to our other screen. Let's look at what people are saying. Velvet Jackson. If school is out of control, then the community is most likely out of control. The problem has to be addressed from the home to the school. I totally agree. April Spicer, wow. Terry Hayes, didn't this happen today at an HISD school? Sherry Brooks says these kids and their parents need to be brought to the carpet. April Spicer, they need an ass kicking for real. Michael D. Moore, these fights will spill into the streets, and here comes more killing. I totally agree. Elisa Williams, yeah, they were fighting all in the street. You couldn't even get by. That's over at Worthing. Brenda Limerick, I agree. OG parents definitely should be sued. The coach didn't deserve to be injured. Sherry says, so what can be done? Brenda says, hold the parents responsible. Sherry says, I totally agree with the structure and discipline. The board, paddle, and prayer in schools is what Brenda says. Kiki will, so they don't expel kids anymore. It takes an act of God to get a kid expelled. I promise you it does. Kanisha Graves say he would have been held responsible for defending himself. Velvet Jackson says Gary is like that in most school districts in large inner cities. I had to be trained in restraint and self-protection so I would not have to run or be afraid. A kid can punch a teacher out and they get 5 days at the most. Kiki Will says no, not suspended. No, not suspended, expelled, meaning once they've been given suspension, they're done. They don't do that anymore. Takes an act of God. Okay, Velvet Jackson. My favorite school is in a very bad neighborhood, and the principal is in full control of the discipline in the school. Sherry says, I feel like these juveniles should be paddled on the way downtown square on Saturdays. I don't know what that means. We need to cane like the Chinese. Kanisha Graves, they made me sad to see that coach running from them kids. Errol said, and list clear positives, incentives for staff and students. I want to address that. What incentives we need to get him? What incentives we need to get these kids for them just to be decent kids? Why should I have to pay you to sit in class and shut your mouth? Why should I have to bend over backwards for you to be respectful? I don't think so. I think that's the problem. They expect for us to do that. That ain't how that's supposed to work. Let's go. ADHD, why so many kids with that label? We got our butts paddled. Kanisha Graves say, what about the teacher they found asleep overnight on the campus? Tracy Rollins, I would be in a cell right next to you, brother. Would have to make an example out of a few, no doubt. Errol says, drop a few lawsuits on unsafe campuses around the districts. Parent involvement, kids need organized activity made to participate, banned in football, according to Sherry. Kiki says, me and one of my best friends were talking the other night. I've noticed that they tend to label especially black and brown boys with ADHD. I think it's intentional. I really do. It's been from my observation that boys learn differently from girls, majoritively. I think a lot of times what they're labeling as ADHD is just a different way of learning. Velvet Jackson, Gary, I'm a sped teacher. I have to get control of my class from the first day. The pandemic made that more difficult. Janelle Dawn, in a small town school districts, troubled kids are sent to High Point. Elisa Williams says they need that old school ass whooping from back in the day. My parents didn't play that. Kanisha Graves say incentives or positive reinforcements for desired behavior and socialization. If your mama told you to sit down, you sat down. If your mama told you shut your mouth, you shut your mouth. If you opened your mouth, 9 times out of 10, you were going to get up off the floor. When your parents told you what time you needed to take your bath or your shower and go to bed, that's what you did. See, let me tell you something. This positive, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to give you nothing for being who you should be. If we raise these children the right way, if we put God in their life when they're young, most likely they'll end up being pretty decent. When a kid messes up, he should be disciplined. There is no option. And y'all are burying your children faster because you've changed the way that you need to deal with them. You don't want to admit that you done messed the whole game up. You are here at 40 and 50 years old for one reason, because your people didn't play them games, partner. You didn't have to tell people, look, you need to be in the house at a certain time. You didn't tell us what time to be in the house. When the street light came on, you knew you had problems if you were still in the streets. Y'all don't know how to be parents, man. You want to be your kid's friend, man. And this is why you keep making these deals, man. No. You ain't going no boot camp if you live in my house. You're going to get that boot out your behind. I know I have one that like to pop her mouth all the time. I told her I was sitting on the couch one day. She came in and said something. And I said, you better go on upstairs before you get swole. I'm like Dollar Bill in my house. Going up there before you get swole. On her way up, she was popping her mouth. I got up. I walked up them stairs. And I slid all the way back down them stairs. It was 2 sets. And you want to know why? Because you better learn how to stay in your place. I'm a grown-ass man, and I'm not finna let you sit here and talk to me in a kind of way. Y'all play with these kids. That's why they do what they do. Kaditra say, oh, well, let's go to L. White. I'm 38 years old, and I'm still afraid of my 70-year-old mother. Exactly. Because you know she didn't play that, and she still don't play it. She'll hit you in your head with that broom. Kanitra Walker, we can't discipline like they need to be disciplined in fear of going to jail. Well, if you in fear of going to jail, you shouldn't have them. Because either you gonna raise them or the jailhouse gonna raise them or the streets gonna raise them. Man, y'all crazy. Let me finish reading that. Accused of creating trauma and being toxic. And me, myself, I don't give a damn about any of that. I'm beating your ass if you step out of line. Exactly. That's the way it should be. Terry Hayes, if there's no discipline at home, how can we expect them to have discipline at school? Errol says, I support boot camp with strict military discipline weekends. We were scared of our mama. All she had to do was look at us. Kanisha said true. Errol says, I support boot camps. You don't need a boot camp, bro. You don't need a boot camp, man. You need to be a parent. You don't need the juvenile justice center. You need to be a parent. And the problem is we want to revert to those things, but we don't want to just say that we are horrible parents. Let's read. Thunder say, I don't know. I don't think these kids nowadays know what a butt whooping is. Al Jackson, a lot of these bad kids are acting out because it's probably a lack of home training and attention. December, baby, you can't get anything on a silver platter. If we had to get it the hard way, we had to get it the hard way. They need home training on how to behave in school. December, baby, tell it like it is, 5-star, no lie. Being told ass whoopings was the thing back in the day. You be the parent. You know, if not, then you scared. What are you scared of? What are you afraid of? I will stand in front of any judge and let him know, you gonna send me to that penitentiary, homie. Because if you think I'm finna let a 14, 15-year-old kid run my house, you crazy. I don't need anybody to come into my space to tell me how to raise my children because I know how to do it. Michael D. Moore, my good friend. These kids are acting out just like the school system want them to act out. That's what I said in the beginning. They set the table for them to do this. That's why they're doing it. Therefore, they will get the pipeline to prison. Population is real. There it is right there. My man just told it to you. They want this like this. Errol says it's easier to set up a successful boot camp than developing parents out of Errol. You start when they're young. If you raise them the right way, it's going to be what it needs to be. Yeah, I slid her down them 2 sets of stairs because I didn't play them games. I knocked my nephew out of my front yard because I don't play being disrespected by no kid. When I say it's time to go to bed, it's time to go to bed. When I say it's time to get up, it's time to get up. When I say don't come in this house with them F's on that report card, I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. Too many punk ass parents. I said it, and I mean it. It's too many punk ass parents. And some of y'all is some white punk ass parents, some Asian punk ass parents, some black punk ass parents, some Latino punk ass parents, some LGBTQ ABC punk ass parents, some illegal immigrant punk ass parents. Is y'all just some punk ass parents and you're raising some punks? I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. You want to blame it on the system, but you ain't even got the kids structured enough to understand that they go to school to get a free quality education. Respect the people in the building. Y'all are some punk ass parents. And that's what it is. If your kid can walk in let's define a punk ass parent. Let's do that. If your kid can walk in your house with 4 F's out of 6 classes on his report card, you are a punk ass parent. If your kid got a cell phone and you scared to check it, you a punk ass parent. If your little 14-year-old daughter talking about, I got a 16-year-old boyfriend, you a punk ass parent. If your child start dressing in all blue and all red and you ain't questioning it, you a punk ass parent. I mean what I say. If your kid got tons of money in his pocket and you know he ain't got no job, you know you didn't give him no money, and you don't ask no questions, you a punk ass parent. So what you thought I was going to do here? What you thought I was going to say here? I'm not giving out no goddamn reward because you made an A on your report card. That's what you're supposed to do. I'm not going by no PS5 because you feel like, oh, I passed from the 4th to the 5th grade. That's what you're supposed to do. You got to understand that there are things that they're supposed to do that you ain't supposed to give rewards for. And if you your kid friend, you a punk ass parent. Y'all out there, that's my best friend. You ain't my best friend, you my child. You my child. And if a teacher stand now and let 4 kids jump up on him, you a punk ass teacher. Defend yourself. You might lose your job, but you ain't got to take no ass whooping in the middle of it. If you a teacher and you let a kid hit you in your eye, you a punk ass teacher. If you're new to this Warzone, say, man, this ain't for the weak at heart some nights. And I know my campaign manager probably over there cringing. Man, he going off. No, I'm telling the truth. And that's the problem. We don't want to tell the truth. If your school telling you, well, look here, no matter what they do, don't give them nothing under a 70. and they ain't turn in no work the whole reporting period, and you give them a 70, you a punk ass teacher. Say, man, I'm real with this. I'm real with this, man. If you a substitute teacher, Nene Nick says, I'm a substitute teacher. It's rough at these schools. Them kids have no respect. Well, guess what? If you a substitute teacher and that kid get out of line, you call that office, come remove him from my classroom. Well, look, we can't pull him out of class. Yes, you are going to pull him out of class. And the reason that you're going to pull him out of class is because he's disrupting the learning environment for the other kids to learn. I think that'll cover you if you get fired. I think you'll win your appeal if that's what you had to do. No. Stop being a punk ass parent and raise your children. When they go places, they know how to act. If a kid is disrupting your classroom, you have every right to have him pulled out of your classroom. And I'm through talking. I'm not finna go back and forth with no kid, man. And all these progressives out here that's like, well, we can't just throw him out of school. I ain't saying you got to throw him out of school, but he ain't coming in here no more. He not coming in this class with that foolishness no more. Let's go read some comments, man. What do you think about districts with DAEP schools? I think DAEP just prepares kids for prison. I don't like alternative schools. I just don't. That's just me. Let's go in here. Velvet Jackson. Gary, you're so correct. I have proof I cannot tell because of school policy issues. These students in my school come every day because they hate being at home on the block. I gave a mom 2 coats for her daughters, and she gave one of them to her girlfriend, and they wore them to the club. Exactly. Punk-ass parents. Errol Jones, punk-ass parents dressing your little girls like prostitutes and hoes. Punk-ass parents. Kiki Will Wright. Sherry says, speak and preach. Put your speak on all the TV channels they need to hear. Lawrence Mitchell, right. Sherry say, damn right, 5-star. Sherry say, you speaking facts. Errol Jones, my sons called me treacherous. Today, they are clearly experience the benefits, rewards of listening to their treacherous pops. And Kenesha Graves says, if you put the student out, they'll say you have bad classroom management skill. Well, guess what? They will be out of my class and I'll find me another job. But you ain't finna come in here and put your hands on Professor 5-star. Ain't gonna happen. Now, if you trying to get you some dental work done and you put your hands on me, we gonna fix your whole grill. Listen to what I just said, because I have every right to defend myself. Well, why don't you grab them and restrain them? Man, look here. You hit me, it's going to be on like a pot of neck bones. So y'all need to grab a hold to your kids. I'm telling you now, you need to do something with your kids, man. Because y'all are running up on some of these teachers like this here, and some of them ain't having it, bro. Some of them ain't having it. One of our coaches died last week, Coach William Forrester. Grateful for that man being in my life, and all of us are. Coach Foster ain't played. Coach Booker ain't played. Maurice McGowan didn't play. Osby Mitchell didn't play. You knew what it was when you walked in the building. And then we had female teachers and coaches that didn't play the game. They were preparing us for life. If you're going to be a teacher, stop being a punk-ass teacher. Put your foot down in your classroom. That classroom is your castle. And young man or young woman, you can be here as long as you need to be. But if you disrespect me or my classroom, you coming out the building. Now that conversation needs to be had on the first day of school. Let's set it straight right now. And the first time somebody violates, cut the head off the snake. Get it done right then. You ain't gonna have no problems in your classrooms. These people were preparing us for life. And that's why we still here old and can barely walk, but we here. You youngsters can laugh all you want, but we here, and we ain't risking the chance of dying. Y'all can't even go to a basketball game unless one of y'all end up dead. People picking you up from school, they shooting in your cars. And you don't think something wrong? Wake up, smell the coffee. Stop being the parent that don't love their kid. Because if you love your child, you're going to do what you have to do. And that's all it boils down to. If you love your child, you're going to instill discipline, respect in your child. And they're going to take that from your house to the nearest church, to the nearest school building. They're going to take it everywhere they go. But if you don't, then most likely your child will not get a quality education. Most likely your child will end up in the prison system. And it will be what it needs to be. You reward your kids for things that are not ordinary. Being a good student, no, I'm not doing all that. That's what you're expected to do. Like I see y'all, we graduated from junior high to high school and wasn't no prom, wasn't no all that fly stuff. Man, you went home for the summer. And you got ready to go to school in the fall. Y'all changed the game. I remember one time my baby mama called me. I think it was in a February month. It was in February. We need to get the child some summer clothes. Summer clothes? What you mean summer clothes? I said, all right, I'm come through there. I go through there. I get out the car, I got some scissors. She say, what's that? We finna make some summer clothes. What you mean? So give me a pair of them jeans. I'm gonna cut them into some shorts. That's your summer clothes. Y'all wanna, I don't know why a lot of y'all kids ain't fashion models. Because you want them to be fashion models. Yeah, you want some summer clothes? Y'all know how I used to get on. You took them old clothes from the school year and you cut them into shorts. We cut them into shorts. Y'all have kids that want to be fashion models, kids that think everything should be rewarded. You're creating individuals that feel that they are entitled, and they're really not. They're really not. Oh, you get on my nerve. When you get a nerve in your back, you let me know because I'll slap it out of there. See, I ain't got to do all that because I set the ground rules from day one. I'm not your friend, so don't talk to me like I'm your friend. Because if you do, it is what it is. And I'm going to make you smell this cologne. Kiki, Kanisha, you think I'm lying? Man, y'all know what it is, man. Y'all had to cut them pants too in the summer. That's why when some of us put pictures up, you see us in them little cut off shorts. That was your school pants. And you knew during the school, mama wasn't buying no extra school clothes. So when you got out of school, you had to take them clothes off. You see what I'm saying? You know what it is, man. You used to have to cut them pants and the shorts. If not, you gonna lay around there and burn up all summer. You know what it was, man. Yeah, and I agree with Terry. Terry said kids coming to school in $150, $200 tennis shoes. Yeah. What that prove? You can't read. Spell that name on them shoes. Let me go slow for you. It says air. They can't even read. But you feel the need to go buy somebody something that can't read some tennis shoes for $200. Air Jordans. Say that slow. So if you want to reward him for something, if he was reading on a 3rd grade level in the 9th grade, and by the time he get to the 10th, if he's reading on a 7th grade level, reward him. I agree that you should reward him. But if you have the ability to make the honor roll and you just ain't going to class, you ain't doing the work, what the hell I'm going to reward you for? Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know what it is, bro. I'm just telling you the truth. You know what it is, man. But some of y'all, you want to play dumb. And if that's the case, then so be it, man. You feel me? So be it. So this Sunday at 12 noon, I'm going to do my voter recommendation show. I am going to do my voter recommendation. I'm going to go through every race in the state of Texas, and I'm going to recommend some people that you should vote for. So if you're in Harris County, Fort Bend County, you might want to pay good attention because I am going over every single race in the state of Texas. Now, these are the primaries, so you'll get a recommendation on the Democratic side if they have an opponent, and you'll get a recommendation on the Republican side. And in the general in November, we'll come back, and then we'll pick who we want to do what we need to do. A lot of you politicians are calling me. I'll be glad to run your commercials, your ads on the Warzone. If y'all don't know, early voting starts Monday. It starts Monday. And you need to be ready to go and vote for who you need to vote for. So to not infringe on your Super Bowl Sunday, I'm going to start at 12 o'clock. Next week, I will have, and I'm not going to say who, somebody's running for governor, a heavyweight, and I'm going to have them on the show. I'm going to have them on the show. So, you know, if you need to figure out who to vote for, then I'm going to give you my recommendations, and that's who you run with, and it is what it is. Next Wednesday, we will do our very first virtual fundraiser for the campaign for state rep, and whatever you can give, and we're in the final stages of planning the actual kickoff party, which we had to push back to the 26th of February. So you can get ready for it. We're going to have a little fun with this campaign, and we're going to do some things, and it is what it is, all right? So Sunday, 12 o'clock, get you a pen, a piece of paper, and get ready. Get ready, because I'm going to give you who I think you should vote for. If you're looking for the obvious, if I've been tearing them up on this Warzone, don't think I'm going to recommend them for you. So we have a bunch of races to go through, and I'm going to give you my opinion on every single race. I promise you that. I always want to tell you guys, I appreciate you taking the time out to tune in to me every single day. I really do. Been a long, tedious process the last 2 years in the middle of the pandemic, but we've survived it. We have survived it. Spread this video around, man, especially for them punk parents. Them punk ass parents. Because there's no reason that a man should be running from 4 kids and they in middle school. Not on my watch. Say it's a reason I'm the best in the business. Every night, 7 o'clock, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Say, man, get on the phone and call somebody and they gonna tell you. I know who he is. Y'all know me too. I am the 5-star general. Sunday, 12 o'clock, I'm gonna tell you who old 5-star rocking with. All across the state of Texas, they waiting on it. Say, man, it's going down. And remember, my man, Rashard Baylor. Say, man, House District 147, that's my guy. And, of course, old 5-star, House District 131. We going to Austin. Ain't no doubt about it, partner. Until Sunday, I'll holler at you.